I actually had to record this video twice. Something messed up in the first recording, so so I just wanted to show you how I made the track INFP-T on track number 3 of Melodies in My Head. It's like an EP I released like a while back. Honestly, I don't really know why I named it INFP-T. That's actually my personality type. At least what I got on that like 16 personalities quiz. And I don't really know how that relates to the track, and neither do I know why most of the other tracks do. Like, what does Schrodinger's cat have to do with anything, or that track specifically? Anyways, let's just get started. This track's relatively simple if you kind of just break it down. We have this like melody section right here, and then we just have like this effects. If you've heard a beat before, you can hear like cat fire and white noise in the background. That's where it comes from. And this whole mess, which I've never organized, or I never actually do whenever I make beats anyways, or tracks, is automation. And this is like the most important thing actually. This is what brings a beat together in a track. So starting off, we have the main melody right here. It's mostly composed of like these random notes I placed everywhere. I didn't really have any kind of clue on how to start it off. I kind of just did it as I go. Like I placed notes, and if I thought it was good, it was good. All I know is just this section right here is triads. Honestly, I don't really know. I think these are triads. And then this part, I don't really know what kind of chord it is, but it sounds good, so that's all that matters. These chords is complemented by these like melody kind of thingies to it. I made sure not to overdo the melody, as I wanted to make it like calm, and I wanted to fit more melodic elements into it. So, and I didn't want to make it sound like overwhelming, if that kind of makes sense. So my imagination or idea with this melody is it starts off slow right here, and it kind of just ramps up. It steadies for a little bit in this area, and then it kind of just like kind of just dies. The whole, I don't know how you explain it, but it kind of just dies at the end. So like, for example, this part right here, it kind of reminds you of something ramping up. And just play that part. And then, like I mentioned before, I added like these little melodic thingies, like these parts over the chords, and that really added character to the main melody. Because otherwise, if I just deleted and took away these parts, it kind of just sounds empty. Like, yeah, it just sounds really empty. That's why I added just like random notes like right here. Or right here. And yeah, that's basically it. Actually no, that's not basically it, because I also have to explain the velocity here. I made sure to change every note's velocity so that it kind of sounds more realistic, if that makes sense. A really easy way for me to change each note's velocity is just using the tools and randomizer thingy right here. Turn off the pattern and just leave levels on, and I just mess with this velocity knob. You can see it shift right there at the bottom. I also made sure to change some notes velocity by myself, like this section here. You can see it kind of just like gets stronger and then gets weaker by every note. This like ramp, the staircase going down looking thing. And yeah, For all the melodies, effects, not effects, like the sound effects and stuff like that, it's all in Omnisphere. Omnisphere is like the greatest thing ever created. It literally has everything, almost everything I want in one plugin. And I recommend you get it too. So I used the Wrld's 1946 pre-piano from the Keyscape library. Moving on, we have the bass right here. It kind of follows the root notes of the main melody, but I kind of just place notes wherever, and if it sounded good, it sounded good to me. And this is what the bass sounds like. And I used the vintage vibe time bass thumper one from the Keyscape library once again. Moving on, I have this top melody section. It kind of just complements the main melody, and I made sure not to overdo it. And this is what it sounds like. It has that very ethereal, melancholic kind of feel to it, and if you heard, there's like some ticking noise in the background. That's where it comes from. And I use the childishness preset. So now I'm going to be talking about my idea for this whole sound effects section. So my idea was, there's like this torch that comes in. It kind of like, say you have like papers out and you have this torch, you burn it, there's like that torch sound, you turn it off, and then there's like that whole like that whole campfire kind of sound, and then the paper just slowly dies because there's nothing else left to burn. So that's what I implemented into this track right here. There's this torch sound that I found in Omnisphere, which is the Burning Piano SFX Fires Torch 3. And this is what it sounds like. You can actually hear it go from like right to left on your ear if you have headphones on, or if you have stereo speakers. I'll be getting more into that when I get to the automation section. And then once that fire torch ends right here, you can see the note end. This white noise campfire sound comes in, and it's the Burning Piano SFX Fires All preset. And this is what it sounds like. And then there's like some of these knocking wood noises, and I thought that was a really good touch to it too. Moving on, we have this other effects, and it's actually at the end. This is where the fire kind of just dies because there's nothing left to burn. And for this one, I used the Burning Piano Extinguish. Oh, that's the word, extinguish. Preset from Omnisphere, and this is what it sounds like. And you can just hear it die right there. So moving on, we have this other campfire kind of sound. It's from this Burning Piano SFX Fire 1 preset, and this is what it sounds like. Yeah, it's just a simple campfire white noise kind of sound effect. And now we'll be moving on to the mixing, mastering, and effects section of this track. So for the main melody, this part right here, I added a vinyl plugin from iZotope. It's like one of my go-tos for anything lo-fi. I just turned up the warp slider right here. It kind of makes it sound off key, off tune. Added some wear right here and made sure to put it on 1970s. And I added a simple EQ to just cut off the low end to make space for the bass. I added some reverb using the Valhalla Vintage Verb plugin and used the chorus bass preset. And I use the Neutron Pro plugin and I use the Mix Assistant. I know people are gonna look down on me for using this, but like I barely know anything. Honestly, sure, I could learn, but like I don't know, man, but it just does it for me, and sometimes I have to change some things here and there because it doesn't sound right. But it's basically all I need. For the bass right here, all I did was just add a reverb, and I just used the one that comes with FL Studio. And then I used the EQ again, and I added like, I believe this is called a shelf, and I just cut off from around the mids to the highs. For the top melody that complements the main melody, I just added a EQ. It kind of just cuts off at the low end here, and then it kind of just like swoops down low mids and boosts high mids around here and just smooths out at the highs. And then I used Valhalla Vintage Verb once again and used a Sanctuary preset. And then for this reverse melody, all I did was just add a reverb to it using the standard one that comes with FL. I used a delay bank to give it some like delay kind of thing. I used Neutron Pro and it just did everything for me, compressing, EQs and sculptor or whatever that is. So now going on with the sound effects. For most of the sound effects, I kind of just added a reverb or an EQ. For the EQ, I kind of just cut off the low end, and reverb, just reverb. For some of the sound effects, I actually added this Love Filter plugin, and all it does is just muffles it. So to give an example, I'm gonna play you a section of this sound effect with the Love Filter plugin off and on. So this is with the Love Filter off. And this is with it on. It basically just muffles it by cutting off the high end, and it makes it sound more lo-fi-ish. And honestly, if you heard it with the thing off, it kind of sounds too harsh for my ears. And I added the Love Filter plugin again for the campfire section right here. And now we can move on to the mastering right here, this master channel. Nowadays, for most of my tracks anyways, I use Ozone Pro. It's like a god save for me. It literally does everything. And then now moving on with the automation. This like little hump looking thing right here, this is just the volume automation for the torch that comes in during the beginning. It kind of just slowly rises up in volume and slowly dies right here, you can see. And for the master volume automation track right here, it kind of just rises up in volume at the end and just turns off. I'll be explaining more on what this actually does for the track later. And for this panning section right here, this actually controls the reverse melody we had earlier. And this just basically makes the reverse melody go from left to right. You'll hear it if you have stereo speakers or headphones on. And for this Omnisphere number 5 channel panning thing, this just controls the intro torch thing. It just basically goes from right to left. For channel number 7, this just basically transitions from the beginning torch kind of thing into the campfire sound. So I'll show you. Yeah, you can hear that nice smooth transition from the torch to the campfire sounding thing. And then for the channel 8 Omnisphere number 8 channel volume, this just basically controls the ending fire when it just kind of dies out. It just slowly gains in volume right here, steadies out, and then just dies at the end right here. I have no idea, I don't even remember adding this volume multiplier. For Omnisphere number 6 channel volume, this just controls the that knocking wood and campfire kind of sound effect. It just transitions from the beginning torch to this. So there's like not a harsh transition, if that makes sense. Slowly gains in volume, steadies a bit, and then it slowly goes down. And now I'm gonna actually explain a section of the track that I thought was a really nice touch I added, which involves the reverse melody and the main melody. So actually, I didn't explain how I got the reverse melody. What I did was just select all for the main melody I had right here, went on tools and flip. That's not flip. This is flip. And it just flips around the melody. And all I did was just go onto a mixer and used Edison. I recorded it from there, and once it was recorded, I dragged it onto my playlist right here, and all I did was just reverse it, and that's what it gives its reverse effect. And this reverse melody kind of just hides in the background. You can't really hear it until this section right here. Like, I'll play this part right here, and there's nothing really interesting about it. It kind of just hides in the background. See, you can barely hear that reverse melody because it gets like overpowered by this main melody. So I'll just remove that whole thing. So it's really subtle, but what I noticed when I did the reverse melody was specifically in this section right here, it was really powerful. Like, it was really powerful, and I wanted that to be prominent in the track. So I'll play this powerful part here I was mentioning. It's just a really nice thing. I don't know, it just sounds nice to me. So what I really wanted to do is actually, for insert one volume here, this controls the main melody, and all I did was just kind of just reduce the volume. You can see this like cutout right here. It just slowly decreases in volume and increases. This just basically makes it so the main melody isn't like overpowering the reverse melody, because I wanted the reverse melody to be more prominent in that area. And yeah, so I'll play that together. Yeah, so like you're supposed to hear chords playing here, but you can't because of this automation. And yeah, I thought that was like a really nice section of the melody. And then another interesting thing I added to the melody was this reverse kind of intro. This part I'll play. So my idea for that was actually, it's not really exactly like it. I don't know how to explain it, but if you've had a CRT TV before, like those like big giant gray looking boxes, if you ever watch something on it and you kind of just turn it off, it kind of just like immediately vanishes. What I remember is like the whole picture kind of just like zooms into the middle. I don't know how to explain it, but it just immediately stops. That was my idea for it. So the way I got this reverse intro was actually just getting the main melody part right here, and the part where it ends in this section right here, I added like a ton of reverb, like a ton of reverb, and I recorded that using Edison. I cut out that part where it kind of just echoes out right here at the end, recorded that, and then I reversed it so it sounds like this. It kind of just ramps up right here. And then one thing I did was I got a master volume automation and made it so it immediately like silences everything right at this section. So yeah, you can just hear it immediately stop. It kind of reminds me of the Netflix intro, kind of. Yeah, I thought that was like a interesting touch I did to it. And yeah, if I remove this, it kind of sounds... Yeah, I don't really like that. I like it just ending right as soon over here. Oh yeah, for this untitled, this automation right here just controls the reverse melody once again, and it just ramps up in volume, just gets stronger for this reverse intro kind of thing. And that was basically it for this whole entire track. That's how I made it. Hopefully the explanation made sense. Probably didn't. I kind of stuttered a lot. My bad about that, but yeah, I hope you learned something or just enjoyed watching it. So, yeah. Bye.